What's up, brothers? Hope everyone's doing well out there. I've been blessed with some warm, sunny weather, and I'm out here chilling. The sun's about to go down. I figure while we have some sunlight, maybe I'll turn the camera on and shoot the shit with you guys for a little while. I didn't have anything planned, so I was reading through comments, and I got an idea from Smash King 91. And Smash King 91 says, what if they showed you initial high interest, but then you effed up in some way and it plummeted? So the title of this video is Why Women Disappear After Showing You Initial High Interest. I know a lot of guys out there, and I'm sure this topic has been reiterated and put out in the universe in a million different ways, from a million different angles. But it's one of those subjects that never ends because there's always guys that are going through this. You've met a gal who had a very high level of interest in you, and suddenly she's gone cold. Now, in this video, I'm just going to explain to you what I do. I'm going to give you my perspective, a little personal insight on what works for me. So, before we get into that, let me say that the most important thing for you to understand, if you're going through this currently, is that there is a 90% chance that it's not something you said, it's not something you did, it's not that you were being desperate or needy or being a simp, or that, you're a beta male. It has nothing to do with any of that. And it doesn't matter if it's a woman that you're dealing with, that you're in a relationship with. It doesn't matter if it's a friend. It doesn't matter if it's a coworker. It doesn't matter if it's a boss, because you're going to experience this with all of them, male or female. People are going to do this to you. One day they're going to be really high on you. They're going to have a high level of interest in you for whatever reason. You're the golden gem that they just can't take their eyes off of. You're the hero. And then all of a sudden, you mean nothing. It's part of life. It happens to all of us. So here's the most important thing to remember. As I was saying, 90% of the time, it's not anything you said or anything you did. 90% of the time, it's just something that they are going through. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you're going to be at peace. You're going to laugh at yourself for ever even giving a shit, for overanalyzing. And the issue that they're going through is a privacy issue. Now, if this is a woman that you're dating, this is very normal. You can expect this to happen several times throughout your relationship. You can be together for 50 years. Expect this to happen 2 or 3 times a year. Don't ask me why, but it's going to happen. So relax. Now, as I was saying, it's a privacy issue. Now, to explain how a privacy issue would work, let me give you an example. Illustrate this in your mind. I'll give you a little story here so you can understand it better. Imagine the sun has just gone down, so it's dark, and you're walking past your neighbor's house, and they have not closed their blinds yet, and their lights are on. And you look over, like you don't do it on purpose. You just happen to be walking by. You just turn in that direction, and you see into their window. And just as you look in, as you look inside, your neighbor makes eye contact with you. So it's this weird moment. It's like you were eating a banana and you made eye contact with another dude, right? It's this weird moment where it's a privacy issue. And all of a sudden your neighbor closes their blinds. And you're overanalyzing, thinking like, sheesh, are they going to think I'm a peeping Tom? And your neighbor's like, is he a peeping Tom? How long was he looking? So that creates an awkward situation where you and your neighbor may not talk for a couple of days. You know, it's a privacy issue, right? So when a woman disappears, when a woman ghosts you after initially having high interest, or if she were to ghost me, I would view it exactly like that, as if it were a privacy issue, as if I had seen too much, I've been around her too much, I know too much, and she's feeling a bit suffocated, a bit exposed. So she's going off into hiding. And look, when you understand that it's something that they're going through, and the fact that it's a privacy issue, then you understand exactly how to conduct yourself in this situation. And how you want to conduct yourself is that you want to give them as much privacy as you possibly can. And what I would do, I would try to not speak. I would try to not be where they're at, even if it's a coworker. You know, if this is a woman that I work with and it's just an awkward moment, I would do my best to stay away from her, do my best to cut off all communication unless I absolutely have to. Honestly, I would try to not even make eye contact with her. You know, I would do my best to cut off all communication, any and all communication possible. Done. And let me tell you something, from my own experience, damn near 100% of the time, when you do this, particularly with a woman, may not work on a male boss, but a woman that you're dating, it's definitely going to work. When you give them privacy and you make it clear that you're avoiding them, because, and it's going to show, your behaviors show that you're avoiding them because you think they're going through something and you think they need to be left alone. What they're going to do, what a woman is going to do, this is how their minds work. Eventually, after a few days goes by, a few weeks, whatever, she's going to freak out in her own mind. She's going to say, "Oh my God, did I scare him away?" She's going to be paranoid that she's going to lose you. She will, you know, in her mind, she'll be overanalyzing now. She'll be saying, "I just wanted some space for one day. I was pissed off about something, or I was having a bad day, or I was depressed. I just wanted a little bit of space for 1 or 2 days. Now he's been gone for 3 weeks. Did I screw this up?" If she initially did actually have high interest in you and you're not just being delusional, I can almost guarantee that if you give her privacy and you treat this as if it's an issue that's not your fault, it's an issue that you had no control over, it's something that she's going through on the inside, she will feel guilty about it. And she will want you back. She will be paranoid that maybe she's lost you for good. And she may even come back to you and say that. You know, from my own personal experience, that's typically what happens. You know, women almost like to, how do I put this? You know how people use the term shit test? There's no actual such thing as a shit test. That's a bullshit contest, or bullshit concept, not contest. So, a lot of guys mistake shit testing with flirting. A lot of times if a woman walks up to you and she's like, says something about, like she challenges your masculinity, she's probably flirting with you. But the type of tests that women typically run, more often than not, are tests to see how into her you really are. Right? So a lot of times a woman will have a very high interest in you. So much that she's caving in, she's breaking down, she's catching feelings, right? And all of a sudden, for some strange reason, she thinks that you're playing games or you're not really into her. So she'll kind of pull back or ghost you or disappear to like save herself. You know, to save herself from the pain that she could potentially go through if you're just, if you're just playing her. You're just going to smash and dash. And a lot of times, again, if you just view it as a privacy issue and you give her that privacy and leave her alone, she's going to think, I was stupid for running this test. He's a decent guy. He was there, and I pushed him away. And I'm stupid for thinking he's going to come back and chase me. And then she's going to start reaching out to you and trying to get back with you. So, the most important thing that you need to understand, go through that whole checklist and apply that to the situation, because it never hurts to view it that way. And about 99% of the time, it's going to benefit you tremendously. But the most important part is the overanalyzing. Okay? As a man, you never want to overanalyze these things. You are the head coach of the team that is you. And the attitude, the demeanor, the confidence level of the head coach is reflected on the entire team. So no matter what situation you're in, sometimes you're in a good situation where you're up by 10 and you're feeling good. Sometimes you're in a bad situation where you're down by 10 and you're struggling. Well, the confidence of the head coach will be reflected on the entire team. So when you're in a bad situation, you have to look at yourself and not overanalyze, because that's when you'll be mentally defeated. But instead, you want to kind of take a breath, look at yourself and say, yes, I'm down, we're losing right now, but this is what I've practiced for, this is what I've trained for. The story hasn't yet been written. Right now we're losing, but we have some work to do. So I put the work in. And it's not until after the work is done that the story will be written. And when you put the work in, you may actually end up winning. So then you can look back and you can say, yeah, I struggled in this situation. I went through a hard time. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I kept my composure. I kept my confidence. And in the end, the story is written with you as the victor. And you can tell the story, you can reflect, you can remember. And that's how it works. But in the moment, you have work to do. And that's what confidence is. It's understanding that you're capable of accomplishing the task at hand. Okay, and a woman disappearing, it's very easy to freak out and overanalyze. This one time, a long time ago, I had to pay taxes. Like, I had a lot of taxes that I had to pay one year. And I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough to pay them. And I ended up taking out a loan that was a fairly high interest rate. And about a week later, I was working hard that week. I was paranoid. I ended up making enough money to pay my taxes, and I wouldn't have needed the loan. But now I was in debt with the loan because I freaked out. I overthought it, and I put myself in a bad situation. And with women, it can be the exact same way. You might have a girl that you really like, that you really want to be with, but the two of you are going through some sort of a hard time. You overthink it, you freak out, and you screw it up. So as long as you don't do that, you'll be fine. And as I said, the pathway of doing that is to say, it's not me, it's not something I said, it's not something I did. I'm not saying deflect responsibility. I'm saying if you know that you didn't do anything wrong, then you didn't do anything crazy, then just assume it's an issue, it's something they're going through. Right? Maybe it's something mental they're going through. Maybe they're depressed, some anxiety. It's something they're going through. Maybe, and I know you don't want to hear this, maybe they like somebody else. Maybe they're talking to somebody else. Regardless whether it's good or bad, whether it's the fact that they're really high on you and they're a little nervous, or if they're talking to somebody else, it's a them thing, it's not a you thing. So, overthinking it, freaking out, putting some grand gestures on the table, becoming obsessed, chasing, going crazy. No matter what the reason is, all that stuff's going to make you look weak and make you look stupid, make you look unattractive. So avoid that at all costs. As long as you say it's a them thing, you'll be good. And when it's a them thing, you understand that only they can get through it on their own. You can't help them with it. So, again, you give them their privacy, you give them their space, and let them come back realizing they're the ones that potentially screwed up a good thing. And as long as they didn't cheat on you or screw you over, well, now you can take her back. All right, I hope this was a sufficient video. I know my explanations and my pathways to reaching my explanations are probably a lot different than what you typically hear, what you typically see. But you have to understand, I view the world through my own eyes. I will take advice from people when I feel like the advice is worth taking, or when it's from somebody whose advice I really value. But when it comes to online gurus and, this content era, this TikTok era, I'm very skeptical with what I'll fill my brain with. Back in 2017, around that time period, the Manosphere was a place that was really delivering a lot of good, strong, valuable information. Red Pill was giving a lot of good, strong, valuable information. But somewhere along the line, when people started to realize how much money you could make off of it, all of the course sellers started stepping into the business. And the thing about course sellers, there's a difference between like an author that writes a book and sells it for $20 and a course seller that comes up with a course and sells it for $1,000. Well, the course seller is going to use social media as a platform to market their course. So each video is designed to, increase sales. It's just marketing a product. It's not designed to give you information and help you out. It's designed to sell products. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that's why my advice is going to be different. Because I'm just trying to genuinely share my experience. And if that helps you out, great. If not, well, hopefully it was at least entertaining. Hopefully you were bored and I helped you get through 20 minutes of your life. And with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and shut this one off. But I hope this video was somewhat informative. And that's about it for tonight, guys. Until next time, see ya.